Hi there, in this video I'll be showing you how to create these wet sci-fi sounds inside of Faceplant. Alright, so here we are inside of Reaper, and I'm just going to load a new instance of Faceplant here on a blank track. And what we're going to want to choose here is, we're going to start with wavetable for now. And I like to go straight to the growls. I find these are best for the types of sounds that we want to create. And in here, we're going to want to create an LFO so that we can scan through our wavetable up here. So I'm just going to grab that, assign it to here. I'm going to slow down the speed here. Perfect. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to want to add another group here, and I'm just going to add another wavetable. And for this one, I actually don't want any sound to come out of it, and we actually want to assign this to the pitch here. All right, and right away you can already hear that kind of wet texture. So this here, if we want, we could modulate it. So I'm going to add an LFO here, and maybe we want to modulate this right here. And if I right click here on this modulation circle here you can decide how much of the LFO is going to be applied here. So maybe something just like 50% here. Right, and with that, you have our basic kind of shape of a sound. Now, if you want, you can go through, get other wavetables. But for now, let's keep going here. I'm going to add a shaper. I'm going to go in here, choose simple shape, and I'm probably going to choose something like maybe this one. Right, just to bring it out a little bit. And now, if you want to add more wetness to the sound, your effective choice is probably going to be a phaser. So I'm just going to grab that right here. And what I like to do just as a quick starting place here is just bring everything absolutely up. And then if we play it, right, you can hear how everything's super wet. Now you can even duplicate this and get it even more. Now it's a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring down the rate. Maybe this one as well. And now if at any point we want to actually remove these two here, I'm actually going to assign it to a macro so that if we decide that we actually don't want that, or we want to hone in the mix of it, we can kind of do that with a macro knob together. All right, so like that is pretty good. Next thing you can do here is add disperser, and this one is adding disperser is great just for adding, again, more of that wetness type of sound. Now, another thing you can do and experiment with here is increasing the pinch here, and then assigning a new LFO here. So I'm going to assign this new LFO here to the frequency. And you can do the same thing with this one over here. Right, and here if you want a bit more of a complex shape to add kind of more varied movements, you can do that here with any one of these. Now you want to be a little bit careful here because it can get quite bassy really fast. So I like to maybe sometimes put in a filter just to control that low end here. And then if you do want to have even more distortion, another shaper table here could be good. So that is our basic shape. Now, again, like I said, if you want to choose a different wavetable, right, you can get a lot of different varied textures out of those. And lastly, one of the plugins I like to add on here is OTT, and this is just going to help to bring out and balance out the frequency. So what I like to do is I don't want any upward compression. All right, so I settled on around 100 for the downward compression, and then I just toned down the lows here because or else you have way too much bass frequency, and then I just brought the depth down to around 68. Now, another thing that you can do here is inside of our patch here, you can hit the unison and go to hard. I do ×8. This is what it gives you, but actually if you bring down the detune all the way to almost 0, not quite at 0, maybe a bit more, like around 4 or 5, you can get even more of that high-end sparkle wetness. Then you can spread it. And that just helps to make your sound a little bit more wet. All right, so that is it for this one. I hope you found it useful and valuable. If you have any comments, questions, leave it down below. And just a reminder to grab the Sound Designer Starter Pack if you haven't already. A link will be in the description below. All right, so thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.